is at the big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in. 2 o'clock on a pretty negative afternoon here. I'm sitting here staring at the 10-year, the 30-year, and the 2-year, even back to the upside for all three this afternoon. Basically, day highs for yields in general. 508.5 right now for the 30-year. 10 years back to 495, and the 2-year as well back higher today. 511 and change. So yields completely reversing what we've seen over the past couple of days. Back higher, that's hurting things. Tech earnings also hurting things in a pretty big way. Here's Google, 9.4%. Just trying to bounce off day lows, 9.4% for Google. The other one we're watching, obviously, Microsoft still green on the day after their report, but it has been a pretty red day, as you see, right across the board outside of Microsoft. Everything pretty much red right now on this board. There are a few in the semiconductor area, if we could go to that. Thank you. In the semiconductor area that are faring a little bit better off here. ABGO, AMD, Intel, however, not one of those or any of those. Finance, the entire group basically red on the day. Amazon coming up tomorrow, having quite the day here, down better part of 6%. Tesla on a bit of a bounce right now, but it has been pretty ugly for Tesla all afternoon. Ford, if you missed it, trying to get back higher right now through 1150. UAW reportedly, quote unquote, close on a deal, according to the Associated Press with that. So Ford on watch, back to the positive side of things right now. But wanted to show this as well because we are, as of right now, below these lows from not only earlier in this week, but going back to last week as well. We'll see how this trading session ends, but for the time being, we are below on the Qs anyways. Those lows, 348.5, probably next stop down there. Yeah, yields on watch here. We're going to watch tech going into Meta after the close tonight. Lots to consider, lots to come as we get going here. Let's revisit some things that we were discussing if you're with us in the pre-market this morning. I mean, it was all about big tech this morning. We were touching on Google, we were touching on Microsoft, among others. Snapchat still having a decent day. I mean, for Snapchat coming off their report. But a pretty wild afternoon here as we head back to the upside. Just be aware, President Biden speaking right now with the Prime Minister of Australia. So they're talking at the White House. But as we saw there, 9.5%, guys, here for Google.
Yeah, it's been nasty. Just a couple of things. I have my eyes on that VFS that obviously that Sharif was talking about. So if something pops in, it's going to likely be that name for me. Just eyeballing it off this 550 level. You go back to the higher time frame. This is where it quadunked the other day. So just looking for the weakness off of this 550 as we speak. We had to pay for locates on that one, but wow, the market. So the market accelerated to the downside, but for the first time since the open, there's 2 consecutive greens on my TLT chart on the 15-minute. So I'm out of anything that is short, at least for now. I do like some, maybe to short some pops. I just want to see what resolves here on TLT. But Alphabet, I played it. It carried way too far to the downside off of the open for me to want to sort of hang on to that long. Like I was playing off of this over under 27, which meant once it broke 26.5, not going to fight it. It carried all the way down to 125, which is not my cup of tea. 25 gave you all the way back to 127.60. So if I like 27, it's $2 under, 50 cents over. If anything, 27's been resistance, a support level that I like. So I have not touched it. I don't think it did not. I don't think it got to SSR, but I could be wrong. It might have actually gone SSR today, and then I just missed it by the math. But not a good day. The cloud was the story for them, no question about it. I think it's an overstatement. I think it's down, and it's probably going to be a value at some point, but you got to let the dust settle here because you've broken major support, and I don't think you see anything obvious until you get to like the 20s and the 200-period moving average, which I would gladly pick up. We'll see what happens where the stock ends up settling down, but I'd be a buyer at the 200-period moving average if this has any chance of continuing past just this day.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody, and I will never, ever wear red again. We talked about that earlier on, and I was like, nah, I'm not wearing that for anything other than the fact that we're going to the Raptors game, but the market has had its worst day in a very, very long time, I feel like. Down 2.5%. It's only 2 o'clock.
Feels
get
like
worse. Who knows? We did play a little bit off the bottom there. We've just been buying some Google down here. Google's been a good stock for us, man. We've been buying it today off these kind of levels here, 125, 126. We just started to leave it alone right now until we got another dip down in there. So whether or not it did hit SSR, I'm not completely sure either, but I missed this dip into 125. That's a buy because it does coincide with that bottom that happened back there at 943. So this is a level that I like. Want to get longer here. We just bought some 50s out there, 70s. I mean, this is the trade right here. This is the trade right here. The SPY, the bump up into this 200 period, and then this is the rest of the day there for the SPY. So we told you that we would get back in and start to trade some futures, and that's exactly what we did. We waited, we shorted the S&P at 421, guys. It hit 417, my best out 418. So again, takes them out at the 50 at the VWAP, takes them out at past support, takes them out at 418 again against that bottom, and that's it. You know, the NASDAQ and the S&P being down as far as it is, we definitely ringing some registers right there. So far so good here. We've been long, we've been short. I know we're just talking about Google, but I wanted to get that market trade in there. We're long Google right now, giving it down to 125. I told you that we missed that, so we're going to take it again. We're going to try to get it if it comes back in. 125.20, just be patient with it.
All right, let's go on to Microsoft. Sharif has joined. We'll get into a couple of things here. Microsoft actually holding on obviously much better than the rest at this point. 2.5 to the downside for the market. Here's 2.73 right now for Microsoft. What a day it's been. Obviously off the highs with the negativity in the overall market, but as Google missed with their cloud area of things with their earnings report, Microsoft handily beat.
Well, Brendo, when you increase income or earnings 27% year over year and revenue 13% year over year, you naturally sell off, right? No, I'm kidding, of course. Also, guidance came in really good. Amy Hood, Microsoft's financial chief, saying that they are looking for about a 15% increase in next quarter as well. The cloud segment did very good, up 19% year over year. Productivity and business processes, which includes like Microsoft 365 and Office and the like, did very well as very good as well. 18.59 billion, Brendo, and their personal computing, which includes Windows and Xbox as well, also beat.
If you take Microsoft, take the move away today, I mean, this day is a lot worse at this point for the Qs anyways, guys.
Well, yeah, that is 1,000,000% true. I hesitate to think what this day would be like. Look, if Microsoft had actually not had the numbers they had in cloud, like I don't even want to think about it. You could be sitting at like a more than 3% down day. As it stands, I posed the question in the chat in the midday, and I wasn't sure the answer. When was the last time before we even got to the afternoon show that the market was down, the NASDAQ was down 2.5%? And I couldn't, obviously it's happened, I just couldn't think of the most recent time it is. It feels a lot heavier than any of the other days that we've been on. Again, TLT is the reason I'm out of shorts at this moment. Microsoft, it broke down at 341, which is the only level that I thought was any good until you got down to in here till like that 35, 36 zone. So I've stayed away from it. The short I wanted was to short the pops. I really felt as if it shouldn't carry past 350 today. But when we sat down, like when I sat down in the morning, this actually felt like it was going to get up there. It really did. Like it sounds insane or stupid right now, but at the time, it really felt it was going to go up for a pop. So I did not trade this one just because I'm not going to get a chance to talk about big tech unless we do it now. I was long Apple most of the day when it was relatively strong. Obviously, it is not anymore. I was playing bounces off 72, went for a bounce off 71.5. But again, like the only way you survive to stay green on this is to get out of its way. There was this, I had this long here earlier, the first dip in the day, and then the later dips. But it has been trending down. It is not really hanging on to 71. The good news, at least for Apple, it seems to want to resist the 200-period moving average. Every time it gets close, it catches a bit of a bid. That's right at 170 and change. So that's underneath at least Apple today, despite the fact that it is down 1.3%. It seems to be holding on to that level. So even if it gets under 171 again, it's got the 200 period moving average for support. That said, I haven't been long it for a couple of hours at least.
I just, same thing for Apple. We were buying it, making money off this 171.50. Once 171.50 left, we went short. We flipped the script. We were sitting here watching it. Had a very, very hard time going. This is at 1 o'clock. Had a hard time going, then eventually flipped it on them. Brought it all the way back down, made another 60 cents, so good trade there. Did not just reload it. We only have 20% left. Should have reloaded it, but uncertain about the long. We are in Microsoft. That's just about Apple. So Microsoft is going to be the #1 name here today on the show, P&L wise. And you can see right here, look at this. Nice dip buys until it didn't work, right? And so dip buy, boom, like this buy there is 341.70. This out is 344. So right there is $2. Went long, and then got out. Took advantage of a bump back into 342. Out. So this is short at 341.50. That first out is 340.15. That's already $1.70 right there on the short. And that's all that we took because, again, I thought that was pretty good. $1.70 right away. You guys actually, what's up to Professor Love and everyone in the chat? You guys saw me take this live on the air. So there's that. And then we just went long again, right down here. And I said to Sharif, and Adair was like, oh, man, I wanted that long. So I told her she took it. But right there, 338 long. Right now we're in the money, almost another $2 here for that one. So, I mean, this has been, honestly, I know it's a wreck of a day for people's long-term accounts, but the shorts have been so good on so many names. And then even those same names, the longs were also really awesome at certain points. So just be careful with what you're doing. I mean, we don't even have Tesla on here. Tesla, look at this trade. Like, this is the only trade we have. Shorting again here, 217. That covers 213. We just covered 213.50. Gave you another long all the way back up to the upside right here. And we will get to, oh no, we will not get to Ford, but Ford as well, nice short. It took us a while to get this name back in. We did take the first two trades were L's, eventually shorted up here with one last hope, and then the pull back down in, giving us another green name here today. So we'll go over all the names that we've talked about, but let's go over to what is a good trade here today as well, Snapchat.
Yeah, what a reversal. If you go to the daily chart here, that's what the candle is looking like currently. That's about as bad as you can get, engulfing the entire week, essentially, plus some. For Snapchat, down 5%. I mean, I mentioned it probably could have been a lot worse as far as the negativity in the overall market is concerned here. For Snap, gave back everything in the aftermarket yesterday in a flash. Had to look quick. It was positive initially, but $500 million buyback, I think, was probably what helped initially, but then everything gets pulled away.
Yeah, investors always love that. Well, they beat on the top line, they missed on the bottom line. 2 cents per share loss versus an 8% per share beat last time around. Global daily active users grew by about 400. They have about 406 million of them. Guidance was iffy as well. They're looking for 1.32 to 1.38 billion in revenue next year. They also had a marked slowdown in advertising as a result of the Middle East war. Not really sure exactly why. Probably a lot of Middle Eastern advertisers there. Their Snapchat Plus, which they charge about $3.99 a month for, they had about 1 million more users since the last time they reported.
Just seeing these bonds and yields back to the upside here as well. Again, we're back to day highs essentially across the board for all of these. I just saw there was that note from the Financial Times as well. Bill Ackman made $200 million shorting the 30-year. So good trade.
Yeah, Snap. The thing is, like, they actually, when you look at things like users and all that kind of stuff, it's not that bad for Snapchat, but they don't, like, you got to turn revenue and big revenue into money. It's a problem Twitter had, and, it's the issue that Pinterest comes up with, and Snapchat kind of the same thing. But it's a decent sized short float, so it's in the bucket of I want to squeeze, and when I want to squeeze play, I look at even dollar levels. So when it made the move off of 10, I just look for the 10 long, like, okay, I do not want this to be a scalp trade. I'm thinking 10 to 10.50 to $11 on Snapchat. So that never happened. I'm going to stop out under 10 when that kind of a move goes. You got to be able, if you're going to shoot for it and you think this has a chance to be the runner, then you take your shot. But once it doesn't work, I just got Affirm. Once that doesn't work, I'm just going to be out. If anything, it was actually a short the other way off of 10, but that's not the name I was looking for shorts. Just very quickly, we're going to talk about, you know what? Affirm and the pay companies aren't on there. All the payment companies stunk today. Affirm, what was the name of that stupid company again?
Worldline.
I want to say WorldStar because of WorldStar Hip Hop. It's just, anyways. So Worldline, a European company, basically came out and put the poo-poo on all of the payment slash fintech type names, and that was Affirm. You'll see down 15%. That was Square. PayPal had a bad day today. You name it. It was not very good. But I just got to fill on a lower high here. Sorry, on a resistance level at about 116.60. So I hadn't been in it since the morning. This is a new position off of this level right here. Snapchat, I don't think there's a trade. I mean, it's just chilling at the lows. It has a very, very tight barcoding range right now, so I don't see a trade in Snapchat, but this has been moving all day long on Affirm. I actually thought we'd put that one on the list, but yeah, if you looked at a chart of Square, PayPal, Affirm, like they're all very, very ugly today.
Yeah, so Snapchat, okay, that's what we talked about right here earlier. This has been honestly like, again, I don't know, we took it first at 10, and then we noticed that it was not a very strong name, and I was like, I'm buying again a poor company into earnings that were good where it's up. So we got out of half right there. So you guys, we talked about that. Yo, what's up, Randy? How's it going, my guy? Right there, we destroyed Tesla today. Yes, sir.
Amazon doing?
Amazon's getting its ass kicked.
Everything's pretty much down today.
Yeah, everything's pretty much down today. Yeah, you are 100% right on that one. You're back in the good books. I see you picked the color of the Raptors there. I like that one. Are you offering a coffee, by the way? Is that something that's on offer right now, or that one? I can take a fresh one. Possible. All right, thank you, my friend. There we go. It's always nice negotiating with such a nice gentleman.
He's not going to say no. He's just
he
too
is
nice.
not. But there it is right there. So just to go over what we did, we went long down here at the bottom of the day. At that time, we were really lucky because we were a penny or two away from getting out when that broke 70. Did not. Then boom, all the way back up to the upside, getting some out at VWAP. That's 30 cents right there, but getting the majority of them out on the way back up and then ending our trade when we took 10 again off of VWAP one more time. That should have been a reshort right there. Unfortunately, I was a little bit scared of this name. I actually thought it could have gone all the way back up to the upside. That tick, although it's purple, so that normally would mean a short. I wish it did this time. I had higher offers up here, so when I was covering it, it was thinking I was taking a short. Then when you cancel it, it redoes it in our system, but not on the chart. So nice move back down for Snapchat. These guys are done, man. If the market's going to be weak and people are going to be selling off the biggest and the baddest of the companies, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, if they're all going to get sold off, unfortunately, this Snapchat also going to get sold. And the 52-week low down here at 785 could come into play in the next couple of days, especially if tonight.
Next couple of days, if Meta misses.
That's what I was going to say, especially if that's the next couple of days. Like if Meta misses tonight.
It's there tomorrow.
Then tomorrow you're going to be probably down to $8 here. So Snapchat, beware. It's almost time for you to get bought by somebody.
Probably. Let's talk Teledoc. Hasn't gotten any better on this daily chart either. A little bit worse, if anything. If you're with us this morning, we were talking about the Cathie Wood angle here. The 13th largest holding for Cathie Wood, Teledoc. Big miss right across the board. Not good here.
Nope. They EPS of negative 35 pennies per share. They're looking at full year guide. The Q4 guide of 2.6 billion in revenue, but it's really what this Robert Simmons individual from D.A. Davidson says. He says basically they need more revenue, more stability in order for investors to become a bit more positive on this. They talk about a tight margin profile as well. We'll see what the February earnings brings, but not a good look.
Just quickly on ASPA, I mentioned this one this morning a couple of times. It was halting all over the place. It looks like they finally halted this. The NASDAQ actually halted this on a request for information. So again, this is a SPAC that they announced a deal yesterday, or confirmation of a deal yesterday. It's like 650,000 shares. But the NASDAQ request for information halt here for ASPA.
That's rough because
Microsoft,
a lot of those prices, like that stock like that, you could be in or out of the money like $10 when that thing is now halted on you. That's why you be careful with some of these low float names. Quickly on Teledoc, it's trending up. The best I'll say is I'm dead flat on the stock, just not in position. But I wanted to short the tops into 1760, so that's what I did. And take a win, take the hit on the rest. And the second one was clean. But it did make a double bottom at a higher low, so I just got out of the trade when it was looking strong, holding that level, and then I get in tight with a tight stop. It's actually, Teledoc's down 3%, but it's uptrending, right? Like this has actually been more of like a squeeze relief rally to the upside. So rather come away, take a paper cut. If you ruin a day shorting something that looks like this when the market is down, then you've done it wrong. So it's trending the upside. I'm dead flat on it, and oh my goodness. Thank you very much to Randy for bringing the treats. This time I'm not saying how many I've already had before this Snickers because it's definitely at least 3 or 4.
Candyman strikes again. You are right. With the coffee and candy, yes, you are right, David AU. But look what's happening right now with Mr. Softy. I know we talked about this a couple minutes ago, but come on, guys. Like I know we've hashtagged trading and real trading and all that kind of stuff, but Microsoft fell right back into 338 on earnings, right? The strongest name. We've just talked about this in the market. That's a long right there. I'm just upset that we only have a third left and how little that we took on this first position. We took 40 cents, then we took $1. I mean, that was, 60 cents, but now you're in the money, $3, almost $3 here on this Microsoft trade coming back up into VWAP. So this is, again, something that we should probably take out if it does come back up here. 341.20. Like, I don't know what else to do. Like, we've covered Tesla at a great spot down there, made that money back on Tesla. We did cover, we're very much light right now on Ford. We just got a nice little cover on that. You have to cover your trades, right? I was upset when we covered this, not upset, it was like we covered the SPY right there. But you could see a nice move down, now coming right back to that area. So Google's been disappointing. It's not doing anything. But this Microsoft trade, I'm thinking about getting rid of this, man. It's 341.17 is VWAP right there. We're now above 340. Maybe we do a little bit of a trail on this name, breaking back below maybe 340.25, something like that. I think we'll be able to get out of that. So let's put like a 340.25 trail in on this Microsoft. I have nothing to say about T-Doc. Boeing.
Boeing, yeah. Boeing, another earnings name from this morning, obviously back to the downside as well. It's actually holding in. I was just noting here, it's actually holding in a little bit better than the rest as far as the prior low, but note the volume coming into play here for Boeing. I mean, that's some of the highlights. It was about the 737 MAX delivery target. They cut that, pointed to Spirit and said their mistakes caused us to not be able to deliver as many as we thought.
In a finger-pointing competition for the last little while. Guys, revenues rose 13% quarter over quarter, but listen to this, a net loss of $1.64 billion. That's a net loss. It's been tough. They said that they are delivering, as Brendo said, fewer 737 MAXs. They actually expect to hand over between 375 to about 400. Prior estimates were about 400 to 450, so about, significantly less. And there's no shortage of demand from carriers. Carriers are looking to add, especially these short-haul type airplanes to their fleet. Can't make them.
All right, if you were with us yesterday, I was mentioning that Trade Ideas has a very, very good deal on right now. So if you haven't done so yet, take advantage of this. We get 25% off until the end of the month. So go check this out right now, trade-ideas.com, or you can hit that QR code, bottom right corner, Trader TV 25, remember, until October 31st. Even for the test drive, $11, you get 25% off.
Yes, sir. Great deal there. And if you like deals, then Boeing shares are getting cheaper and cheaper by the day, by the week, by the month.
Deals.
So the next time Boeing has a positive week will be the first time since, like August 7th? And by the way, shout out in the chat, the answer to the question the last time before we did the afternoon show was the NASDAQ down 2.5% was August 24th. Thank you very much, guys, for looking that one up. It's been a minute since it was that week.
Yeah, I think
but
that's the point there. Wow.
that's the last time Boeing didn't look like a piece of crap. No, it's this one's breaking down. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I didn't really trade it. There was that breakdown. Sharif covered it, and we mentioned it for lunch money, but I preferred Shopify in that moment. As we'll go back to Brendan, Boeing's a dumpster fire.
Just real quick, guys, Zoom just popped up in front of me here on a bit of a volume spike downside. Made a day low. Apparently, X has launched video calling as well. So Elon getting into Zoom's world.
Last night at
Not a good day for Cathie Wood.
yeah, last night at drinks / dinner / whatever it was, I did mention to these guys there about Twitter, and they were asking us what we thought about X and all this kind of stuff, and it was just like, I honestly think the guy's going to re-IPO this thing, so let's wait to see what happens if that does come in. And another aspect there, interesting note on Zoom, we will definitely zoom over to that in a minute. Unfortunately, I just lost this chart, so now this Microsoft looks ridiculous with all these wicks like this. So I don't even know if I'm going to be able to trade this again till I do it. But there it is, man. We take a poultry. Where is the Microsoft trade? $2.15 on that last piece there for Microsoft. So there we go. We are now out of that. We just got stopped out on Apple, but Apple is just hitting. So we were just short there at 45. It just hit. I didn't even notice that we are that tight to VWAP again. Oh man, this chart is going to be a nightmare for me now. All right, I'm just going to try to clean this up and
Fun times.
yeah, fun times. I can't even look at the Boeing chart. It's a nightmare. But if you go up and down on Boeing today, I think that if that 190 was so super key, I'm just going to have to throw it back. Are we done there, Brendo? Okay,
Yep.
so we're done. So let's, I'm just going to try to clean this up for a minute and work on this. But we're at the highest spot we've been at all day, despite losing on that Apple trade. Again, because we've been covering, right? So just be careful. Google's falling back in. Watch out for 125 flat.
The only thing I'll say about Zoom is daily chart, $60. Maybe you can hold that. That's like a very strong, there it is. Maybe it holds. I don't know. It didn't really take out the low on that news, but it's a triple bottom. Certainly could happen. I just think if you're short before it clears 60, you want, I don't know where your out is if you want to short this. Like VWAP would make some more sense. But I think I was talking about this before we came back on. I'm going to get to Affirm in a quick second. That I want to be very patient getting into things when you're at these lows. If the things that drove us to the downside are starting to slow down a little bit, then I want to have clear levels, know where I'm out, not throw away what have been easy shorts all morning. I do want to get back into Shopify because I feel like this is like that flat bottom break on Shopify. Remember $50? Let me show you the daily chart. This finally happened on Shop, and it's not really like 46. Anywhere from 46 to 48 is where the next support is. So I feel this really could go down again. As a matter of fact, it's heading back into the low. So I'm looking for a place to get back into Shopify. I thought maybe 49, and it was on its way up there. Now I got a wick there too. Yeah, so I thought maybe it was going to get to 49 on that bounce. It looks like it does not want to see 49, unfortunately, on Shop. So the next available pop, maybe we can get it there. Naresh asking my take on Now, N-O-W. Okay, ServiceNow. I'm saying it out loud so I can not screw it up typing it in. Let's go, charts. I should put my trade ideas chart next time. Ooh, flat bottom break. ServiceNow, flat bottom breaky at 525. This is not a day trading stock. I don't think it's, I'm surprising anybody by saying that, but a lot of times when you have a level like this, especially on a bigger and more expensive name, like when you see that, it's because there's support here. Like there's buyers at 5.25. So on a day like today, it's hard to, even if it breaks that level, like where would it have to go for you to be sure that this is failing that support level? Maybe look at it closing underneath 525 and taking out 520, and then you could see a trend down. Even then, the 200 period moving average is right at 510. But it is a flat bottom break if it takes out 525. There's no question about that. That's looking rather heavy to the downside. But what isn't today? I mean, how many things are going to be on major support levels at this point? Now, this is just yet another one of them as far as I'm concerned. So the one I want to get back into is Shopify. That did make its flat. This is a perfect example, though. Like, how many times did Shopify bounce before it went? Now, when it goes, it's going to go. But before it broke that level, I mean, I'm not going to count those. It's like 7 times at least that it was breaking that flat bottom before you actually get the follow through, and I'd like that to follow through even further here. So I'm looking at 48.80, maybe that's going to be it, or 49 next pop on Shopify as I get rid of this candle.
Yeah, I have to get rid of a couple candles there myself. All right, so we did reshort back into Apple. You can see it's trying to come in a little bit there. We made a mistake. We just had the wrong price. We should have had it up here at 170 or so, but it doesn't matter. We did get stopped out, and we just put it right back in right there. So short there, stopped out there, back in. One fill. We should have had something down there in the 30s, though. That's for sure on sorry, not in the 30s. Yeah, in the 30s. I don't know why we didn't have any bids down there, so we have to put something right now. All right, we're short. This is not good. Not going to work out. But we are short Apple, but long Google. Google's back down here at this level. Let's see if it can go back up. Google's back into 125. This is, oh, shit. Honestly, I just spent like so long trying to fix these candles up for everybody on Microsoft. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to get this all figured out. Unfortunately, when our charts, they basically filter, I mean, I'll just tell you what happens. They filter out these dark prints when they happen real time, but then if for some reason my chart crashed and I had to load up another chart here. So like, look, I have to do all this while I'm actually in position here with real trade on, so that sucks. But okay, let's just talk about it real quick. All right, so we're just gonna go long here, 125, and I probably can't even zoom out, honestly. Man, very close to throwing something again, but I'll try to stay as calm as so I can't even show you this, but Google's bottom is 125, so we'll see if that comes into play there one more time. I apologize, nothing. Honestly, it's embarrassing, to be quite frank, but all right, 120, 170, 120. Hopefully we can come back in on this one. I want to put another bid, 171 30s, put something else in the 20s, and then get going on that one. As here we go, there's 20 cents on Apple, so we'll go, oh my God, on that.
My God.
But it doesn't really matter. We're losing a little bit here because as Apple drips, which is fine, we're happy with it, we're making money. And actually, right now, it's 1-to-1, how much money we're down on the Google one and how much we're up on this Apple. But Google right here is coming back into 125, looking like it does want to break. We did get some out there, so let's just put on one more piece at 10s or so, just because we were able to get a little bit out there at 30 or 28, I think it was, right there. So hopefully we can bounce back up right now on GOGGLE. I do have more shares on this name. So yeah, guys, like unfortunately, honestly, I don't even, I'd like to call up Meta, but I'm nervous about how this chart is even going to look for everybody.
That's not
actually,
that
it looks
bad.
okay. Meta only has 2 upside wicks right now. So, Brendan, I did miss a super chat for you, and it was about 5 minutes ago. They just wanted to know if we had an update on potentially some of the talk that Powell may do. I thought it was supposed to be not market related. I remember you discussed this with Frank yesterday. So there was a question there, and I did mention in the chat that I would get a little bit of news on that from Brendo. So when that's all ready. But like I said, I think yesterday Frank had mentioned it because we had said there was no more Fed speak. And I think that's the point is that today it's not market related. I don't know how the Fed chair could speak about that, but it's at some lecture. And,
yeah, Moynihan lecture.
Yeah, so.
Thank you for carrying that while I was eating that Snickers. And so you
You
can't
love
really
Snickers. And I love Google right now, by the way.
You can't really talk while you're eating a Snickers. That's what's up. But it's not supposed. But it's hard because like he's going to talk about the economy in general. But at the end of the day, it's not supposed to be that big market moving. At the end, but also 4:30, like market's not open. We can digest anything he says overnight. You do have some earnings plays, but if memory serves, Meta should be out before he talks. Meta is usually out before he talks. So this chart's not too bad, but I'm going to not try to I can't get rid of this wick. So it is what it is. Shop's trying to make a bounce here. I did want to at least go over GM because if you were watching, well, I mean, during the midday show, you would have heard me say, like I kind of yelled out for GM news. Well, the reason I knew was not necessarily that I saw the headline, but I was short GM in front of 28. This is the perfect lesson as to why I think you should trade with a stop and have an out, because if you don't and news hits against you, like what would have happened if I'm taking fills in front of 28 here for the second time on GM, which was a good short all day long was a good short, and then this move happens. If I'm not stopping out there at 28.05 for essentially like a 6-cent hit, it goes $1 to the upside on GM, $1, and it's still going back up. So, I believe in trading with stops. That's a good reason to, Brendo.
Yeah, just to confirm, as we were saying with Frank yesterday, he's making quote-unquote introductory remarks at this event coming up tonight, but it's all speech, so it could be anything, really. There's no indication as to if he will talk about monetary policy or not, but again, introductory remarks is really all we know at this point.
All right, well, that's good, because if we can ever hear from Jerome Powell, what the... That's getting old. We'll have to figure out something else.
We need someone else to call, like the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, or we need, like, John Travolta to be like, what is going on here? All right, 126.85.
Oh, Meta
so we'll wait for
300.
that. Yeah, join me tonight as we will go over all of that.
What's Chris talking about today?
He's talking about a very good question. Thank you for asking that. He wants to talk about the average true range trailing stops. You might think I'm talking about two different topics. I am not. Trailing stops using
The ATR.
the ATR.
I like that.
And he said that he's going to talk about it on a 1-minute chart. So that's fine, but I'm also going to ask him about it on a larger time because not everybody trades the way that we do. So Chris Bretcher from Simpler Trading coming through, and thanks for asking.
That's a tricky
so we're going to
thing.
talk all about that, but more importantly, man, we had a record-setting number of views yesterday because of the earnings calls or earnings releases. We're going to see tonight what's coming through, and we will have that earnings board for you throughout the show here this afternoon because it's a doozy, man. It's so many reporting tomorrow morning and then even into tonight. Big Blue is reporting. Meta is coming through for everybody, and we will show that. Yeah, make sure you do follow us on X at tradertv_. Oh yeah, they're all different. That's right. TikTok is a problem because we have that underscore in there, but generally speaking, at tradertv.live, and you'll be fine. And you want to find like the same accounts that Neil, myself, and Brendan are all following, then hopefully you can sort of match each one together. All right, so here we go. Apple's now 40 cents in the money, and we are dangerously close to losing Google here at 125. So we're long at 125.17 right now. Not a good spot to be at. We may just get out. I mean, the market is now below the 50-period moving average. You're not even anywhere near the IB low. You're nowhere near VWAP right now, and you are getting absolutely pumped in the NASDAQ, let alone the stock that's down the worst today out of every single name, big cap name.
Yeah.
Goldman. Should look at Goldman. Goldman Google, I guess.
Well, actually,
I don't know what the banks are doing. I can't imagine very well.
Well, okay, but everything is relative. Like if I look at what is up today on my list, okay, well, Microsoft gapped up. You've got you have some energy names obviously going to be there. Pfizer's up today, PG. TD in Toronto, that's up. Pepsi, XOM. But if you look, JPM's only down 0.7%. Goldman Sachs only down 0.7%. Eli Lilly's only down 0.8%. I say only Tesla's only down 1%. But that's just my quote board. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. I just want to alert to TDOC is back at VWAP. I could have got back into this, but every time I was shorting above 55, and it turned like right here. But VWAP has been support on this somewhat squeezed name. If this gives up VWAP, I might look for this to flush the downside. Yeah, bears versus bulls only. Look, man, the market's down 2.5%.
I know, what are you gonna do?
If you're at 0.7 down, you're having a good day. You got to take things in stride at some point. Reliable Rudy, BTAI, yeah, that one, I didn't really focus on these today. And it was the other one. It wasn't BTAI. It was that and Lian, Lian. Those ones were in play, and I probably missed out on at least one chance at this, but this is now falling apart. So it's hold some support at 275. I don't know if that's enough to get me interested. LIAN as well. That one holding up very nicely. This one yesterday at $3 was fantastic. It gets back above VWAP now. Yeah, this one's not looking very bad. Yesterday it did a very similar setup, where you just looked at it holding above VWAP in scalp trades all afternoon. It could do something similar, but the volume is it's just terrible, the volume on that, unfortunately. And I don't like it when there's no volume. It's difficult to dig into it. It's Shopify that's got my attention because, yeah, here we go. It just, this chart. Sorry about the chart, guys.
Yeah, people, Yeah, I don't know. We haven't really looked at the pay. I saw some people talking about it in the chat. We haven't really looked at the payment processors too much here. I know you were in a firm there. I think you just talked about it. And then that BTAI is not one of those, though. So, but
No, hell no.
hell no. Yeah, that's like one of those low flow guys. Okay, just because PayPal's down near again, we sort of talked about this at the beginning of the show. That 41 for Square could have been coming into play. It's at 41.36 right now, which is amazing. Its 52-week low is much higher than where we are even now. But it's PayPal at $50 that actually came in a little. So like, how come I have like no bad wicks at all on PayPal? Like a stock that I have no trades on. 51.25. So
that's probably why.
Yeah, but I think it's just dark pools in those big names. It's because for some reason they're everywhere on the big names. But right there, PayPal. So I just want to say, like, even though a stock, and this is what I was getting at before, you can see Google right now rebounding nicely. So now we're a dime piece in the money. We just took 15 cents on it because it did go up to 125.30. But what I was getting at is, no matter what the day brings to you, you are always going to be able to find things. Now, right now, you are getting close to this VWAP spot on PayPal. So PayPal 51.80 coming into play. I just want to go over to Google here for a minute because, so as I was showing you, we have a bunch of outs. So some out there, you saw me take it at 18. We talked about that. Then we took a 22 fill, and now we're taking them out at 30. I do have a 34 offer right now to get some more out. We are going to try to hold half. I'm scalping long. That's what we're doing. The market, I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to rub my eyes and see if that's right. Down 2.5% right now. Is there an opportunity? There always is an opportunity for this market to get a little bit of this back. There we go. So there, yes, sir. So we'll just be like, we're reloaded.
I'm reloaded.
So this is what we're talking about when we're hashtagging real trading and talking about taking positions and holding them for real moves, right? Because when we're going to be doing options and we have a few new things going to be coming hopefully to the platform and stuff like that, these are the kind of trades that I'm going to be trying to work on. Finding like low takes and then trying to wait for the way up. Now I know with options you're not going to be able to scalp out like the way that I'm doing here unless you can do it on multiple contracts, I assume. But I'm trying to like pick good levels, scalp them out at 50 periods and so on and so forth and see how that works moving forward. So far so good. I mean, Apple making the move back down. We shorted that one right there. That's going to be a good trade. So far that we've been here with you. So far this afternoon, there's the Apple short at 215. That's now 50 cents in the money, so that's good. This Google long has obviously worked out for us. We talked about Tesla. We already got out of that. I'm looking to actually, oh, no, okay. If that chart was close to crashing right there, then honestly, I'm just going to the Raptors game if that happens. So we'll see Fabian on the recap show hosting there. But there we go. So we don't have anything else as Google's coming back in. Let's take a little bit out, man. I'm a little bit nervous again and again about this market breaking. Like, it's not good. We didn't hold VWAP there. Sorry, the 50 period, not even close to VWAP. And Google, well, I mean, here we go. I just got a piece out. All right. Okay, well, there it goes back up to the upside. I just covered a little bit there, getting nervous at 26s again, and so there it is right there, right? So the SPY short is what we probably should still be in, but you got to take profit sometimes. We always say that, right? It's one thing to call a trade. It's another thing to actually be in it.
It's entry, it's exit, it's all probabilities. I think another good quote that I don't remember where this quote is from, but I think it's a good one, and I'm going to paraphrase it anyways. But the second you realize that decision making and trading is about probabilities, the better you will feel about the outcomes, because you have to be. I liken it to poker. You have to be willing to be in something, knowing that it's not that whether it wins that time, it's whether you do the same thing, and it wins 7 out of 10 or whatever that works out to be. Speaking of which, I'm going to pay for locates because they're almost free on WeWork. So their CEO was, like, they got a new CEO yesterday. This is the reason. And then, what's his name? Adam Newman or whatever his name is. Yeah, Adam Newman was on CNBC at lunch, and so that's enough apparently for the stock to go up. But it's going into what was a pretty big chop zone at the quarter, and then if it gets to 250, I don't know. Like, that's not much of a reason for it to go. The other reason why it is making a move, presumably speaking, is this setup, which it's just something which has been happening, not something that I think fundamentally makes any sense. But reverse split, and you get these stocks that zoom up after the float's up absolutely tiny, so it's done it once. It's trying to make another bottom at 2, so a bit of a double bottom and then a first day move here. Now, if this move clears out like 50s to 75s, I think it has a chance to do something into $4. But until that happens, I think it's still shorting. If this gets to $1, I think it could be very, very spicy. In terms of like, just look at what Mullen did. Like when it gets really, really far down on these reverse splits, the float is so small, they get soaked up, which is a lot easier to do, and then absolute nonsense can start ensuing. Did Google go SSR? I don't think so.
We weren't sure about that.
124.80.
Oh no, it says no on our system.
Yeah, no,
That should be it.
It was underneath. I had a calculator up here somewhere.
but-
Yeah, 124.93. I knew I did
Right,
this.
to answer the question, no. So it came close.
124.93. I did this morning and
Now
then
you
left
make
it
me
up
get
just
out
so that I
of
wouldn't
this.
have to know. That ASPA, by the way, I put this in the chat as whenever there's a halt, and if you're just curious, just go to NASDAQtrader.com, right? So it'll show you all the current halts and resumption quote time, resumption trade time, and then even what day it's supposed to come back. So this is T12 just means information request. That could be days, that could be weeks. I have seen one of these where it was, obviously more than just a couple of days. So I have no idea when it's going to open up. Your guess is as good as mine. Oh, did I just get wicked out of Shopify? This market is it's teetering. I keep looking at TLT, I keep looking at the NASDAQ hold the lows, and I do not want to get wrapped up sort of fighting one of these. I want to be rejoining anything I like as weakness, but at this point, it's feeling a little bit sideways here, so I'm going to continue with like very tight stops if I don't take perfect levels. Like this is not even 49, it's not VWAP, so it's going to have to be tight stops all the way down here. Steve G saying Sundial hit an all-time low on news.
What a surprise.
Yeah, but the question is how many times has Sundial hit an all-time low in the last couple? Well, okay, fine, fair enough. This is actually legitimately, no, it has not hit an all-time low.
Punked.
Oh,
Man, you didn't even have to zoom out that far for that.
yeah, Steve G.
Come on, Steve G. Come on, Steve G.
It's not there yet.
Come on, fun guy.
But if and when it does, there can be a trade, to be sure.
No,
You got me excited
you
there
are-
because I thought maybe it was actually doing something.
Are you? Jin is just mentioning short. Are you? No, you're not. He's out of a firm, but
No,
short a firm. Are you asking?
I was in it earlier.
If there's a short for a firm?
I'm
Very
missing some
firm.
days on
Yeah,
this
I don't know. Okay, so I just.
Better at 17 is my answer. If it's not VWAP, then
Yeah.
you can get in with a tight stop. But I like in here in front of 17, so I'm not really willing to hold it against me. I'm not holding anything deep against me on these retracement shorts.
Yeah, I mean the market. We're doing good here on the Google move, but again, it's not really going. I mean, we would like it to go a lot higher. Again, this is right now 3-to-1 risk to reward. So, you can tell we're long at 125.10 with the bottom of the day at 125.07. So you could probably figure out, I'm getting another piece out right now, that where my stop's gonna be, right? And so that's why we're out of too many of them, honestly, but we still have only a quarter left. Lucky enough to get that reload at 10 though, right? Our first position was at 17, right there. What's up, Patrick? I thought that was Randy again, coming through, that guy, Randy. All right, so here's Ford. Oh, no, okay. Whew. All right, so right there coming through, 1147. We did get as high up as 1155 there on Ford. And again, I don't think this was ever confirmed, right, Brendo, that there was a possible deal struck or imminent, and I don't know, the wording was something similar to that potentially Ford and GM, or maybe it was just Ford, maybe it was just GM. But we did have a nice spike up. I didn't believe any of it. So we went short the first time at 1140 and then got stopped out at 1150. So that was probably about 11 cents. I feel like we actually started it at 40 and that out is 52. So I think it was about 10 cents. And then we went short again and actually went short at 55 and 57, getting out at 60, waited, and then this is the key. Finally, let me see if I can just get this out a little bit better for you guys. Yeah, see? So get stopped out, basically help create that top wick, and then in the very same candle, hit the short back against that wick. So we were ready. We're obviously not willing to die on this stock. This was just looking at this move up. So LL dub all the way back down, and then there it is right now, putting another positive spin on another symbol for us today on this one. We are down on Starbucks today, and that's it, actually. So, okay. So we're down on one stock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8-1 today, guys. 8-1 on the trade, so pretty good. With Ford, one of the last ones to get out now on that. And we're just cruising right now with Google as that's coming back in pretty good now, back down into the downside. We are going to get ready to get. I mean, we were short and out and stuck on Google earlier on these longs. Got stopped out a couple times, but right now we may get stopped out again as Google's pushing back down to the downside.
I don't see anything new on Cassava Sciences. Actually, wait a minute. No, there's something here. The company, so Cassava Sciences shares are trading higher after the company announced MRI data suggested whatever, you know the drug, is not associated with imaging abnormalities. So this is a squeeze type name. It's up 21%, but it just did this little bit of a pullback on Cassava Sciences. So, ooh, that's right at the 50 period. Yeah, that's probably why. Like the last time it was here, it did reject the 50. You can see this 18. I wouldn't chase it up here. Already up 21%, pretty much at the big resistance zone. I like looking for the curl in WeWork better than Cassava Sciences because, well, Sava has a reason for being up at least, even if I think it might pull back. Whereas WeWork is sort of, I don't know, it's just kind of going up on mechanical air is the best way to put it. So it's starting to get into resistance on WeWork, but if you're wondering why Sava's going, not that bad of a play. And there is at least news with this. Like, respect the fact that there's news here on Cassava Sciences. Meta, what is it doing? I did see that. There was something. Yeah, it's a huge short float on Sava. Mohammed's saying it's 35%.
What?
I'll double check that, but I'd believe you. I see 36, so it's probably right. I mean, that's a huge short float. So it's, you know, I'm not saying it's going to go up forever, but with actual news, I'd rather look for the turn in WeWork, which is not really showing signs yet, but I think can. What is going on with Meta down here? Like, Meta is refusing. If the NASDAQ breaks the low and 4%. Meta is still here, essentially 30 cents underneath 300 is as far as it's been going, but it's been breaking it every time. Like, there is nothing holding 300, but it will not break 30 cents lower. So any fill underneath 300 is about 30 cents worth of risk if you go long. Futures break the low and come back. Meta's probably a long off of that level, at least worth it in terms of risk to reward. Because if it gets to 01s, I mean, you're laughing. It doesn't even have to get back into 02, which this is what I thought there'd be some pops to be shorted in some of these names. As you can see, I drew a line to remind myself that Meta would be 1 at 302. I don't know if I like that as much anymore, the way it's coiling at this point.
People, I was just reading some chats there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people, sorry, on Twitter there, people messaging me about some of these trades. Okay, so, all right, Ford, we didn't take any out yet. Let's look at Snapchat again. Snapchat off this $9 mark. I'm trying to, let's try to find a trade. All right, so quickly, US dollar bullishness today. I don't believe that it's going down. The dollar should be going to the upside today. Yeah, UUP. Again, a nice little move. This is a dollar right here, and I was charting the dollar as well on Yahoo right now. So let's have a quick look, as we don't really have it on our platform right now. You got to get all different. What is this? dx-y.New York book. Okay, we can see if we have something on our platform, but there it is right now. 1.6 up 0.2%, 106.50 on the dollar. So kind of just hanging out now, starting to go up a little bit here, ticking higher right now as we speak, which is what we mentioned there, making some of these names go jump. All right, so we just got another out there for Google, which was good. It just came right back into the 50 period again, so that's another 33 there. We're taking 25 cents on that. As we take that money, look what's happening with Apple. Apple actually making bottoms right there, coming back into the low of the day. So now that we've seen this and we've absolutely shorted that and done real well on this, I mean, we talked about the mistake of getting out and then just getting right back in, believing in the trade, believing in yourself. This is what we're doing, you know, trying to anyways. And that move right there, let's just get out if we take above 20. And if this market wants to rally into the close, fine. I mean, fine. we'll take it if that happens because we are long Google. So we'll put that stop right now on Apple. I just got to make sure I don't have any other stops. So right here, 171. We'll put it together if you guys want to. 171, that's 17 or 18. I'm fine with that. So let's go 171.18. It's like a 10-cent trail, but not, right? These are the difference between stop and a trail. So I'll put that in right now. So a trail would be like, okay, I'm putting it in for 10 cents. A trail, so that would still be the same result, right? 171.18. But if this name goes down, which it's going to, trust, hopefully, down through 171 again, then all of a sudden, now it resets, you see? So now my trail would be 171.15, you know? So it just keeps on resetting to 10 cents. So then you could wind up getting out a little bit too early if you had something in like that. But it's not like it's an incorrect way of doing things. You gotta do whatever you're comfortable with right now as Google goes all the way back up to the upside. And we talked about staying late today. Traders stay late, and we're gonna do that one more time. Every day we're gonna stay late, especially when there are earnings calls and earning releases like we're gonna have today. It's gonna be a banger there. I do wanna go over the earnings board if you have another chance to do that pretty quickly to show everybody how busy it's going to be tonight. So here we go. Here comes Google right back up to the upside. We're waiting at 48, guys. Can we take 38 cents on this? One more tick, and the answer will be yes. So hopefully we get going back up to the upside. Did it just flash there? There it is. Well, actually, I just punched. There it goes. We just got it. So there it is. We punched out at 47, actually, there, but should not have. We got that. Do we have that earnings board? Okay, let's go. Let's just see. I just want to see what's going on tonight again quickly so I can avoid trading any names. I can't see. This is what I have to do to see. Meta, ServiceNow, IBM, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah, it's still, okay, it's still, what's that one on the end? This is Wyndham. That's what it was, Wyndham. Okay, that's good. Thanks, guys.
RCL, World Caribbean.
What? That's tomorrow morning?
Southwest tomorrow morning.
Ooh.
Those are spicy.
Kenvue, little J&J action there.
Oh, yeah, Kenvue.
And some Valeros back in the building. If Hershey watches the show, people would probably buy Hershey.
Oh my goodness.
Because the stock and the candies, although, is Hershey M&Ms? Oh, here's Randy.
Actually, I don't.
He just brought us this Snickers.
I still have my
wrapper here too. Is it Hershey Canada?
I don't see anything.
Oh, damn it, I ripped the wrong part. Hold on a second here. Got another part here. Man, we're really
Mars.
Imported by Mars Canada. Yeah, but Mars, I feel like that's.
You guys tell us.
Mars a company? I don't know. Is that a planet? Okay.
By the way,
Google is.
Hopefully somebody punched long while I was yapping. I put my bid at 3. It's already at 301.50 on Meta, so it continues to do that dance off of this level. I am in WeWork right now, off the 240. It's going to take WeWork. If it breaks 40, I'm going to keep some tight stops on it, but until it's over 250, I do like it. I grabbed Teledoc off VWAP, and we mentioned that. It took a while for it to get to VWAP. We mentioned that at the outset of the show. It just got to VWAP on that last little bounce now. But Meta already bouncing off that 301 as well.
So there it is, guys, and it's just for everybody in the chat. I know Professor Love and everybody else that was in the chat there, they were talking about like, oh yeah, there's, like what kind of a crazy trade is this SPY? I'm not normally sitting here during lunchtime, and you are right? So there's no way I'm actually putting on these trades for real, right? Look, we actually talked about this Google trade. We talked about every single trade that I'm in, as long as the camera's on, we are discussing these trades. So hopefully you guys have this on right there on Google, and boom goes the dynamite. The 7-to-1, 6-to-1. Our stop is below 125. It's now 75 cents in the money. Is this not a banger of a trade right there? So again, this is why we're trying to be specific on the names that we're trading. I'm not even sure if we traded Google yesterday, Alphabet. I always call it Google, but Alphabet yesterday at all. But again, today, if you're going to look at what's going on right now, I already told you Microsoft is the #1 name today. It's the #1 name on here. Google, we're in right now. Snapchat, again, another positive name for us. Boeing, we left alone because, again, we looked at that 190, that it just never got going at all. The only thing left on here to trade that we haven't yet today is PayPal, Square, and Affirm on this board. So that would be something that we could have looked at. And, we are positive, net positive on Apple today, as well as we just cover that short. You could see we put some trades on right there. Amazon, we talked about this with Obi. This is probably going to be a nightmare of a chart, if it even loads. So there's my Amazon chart for today. As you can see, I went short there and got out there. Now, hopefully that will load. Amazon's a big, big win for us today as well. Ford, that speaks for itself. Microsoft, we talked about it. Snapchat, only one trade on the SPY all day. That's that one. And then Tesla, I mean, Tesla, that was in and out, but still a winner right there for Tesla. And then this is the last one here off VWAP. Short 216, 217, down into 213. So I hope everyone's day is going well. We, again, yesterday, I think we were 8-2. Today, 8-1, 9-1. We're really reading the market well. It's like if you're a gambler and you're like, we're really reading the board well. We're really reading the market well.
Well, if you're a gambler and you're saying that, then you have a problem. A very, very large problem.
Okay, well, I would disagree. But gamblers, you know, they go on runs. And what they say when they go on runs is they're reading the board well. The trades are undeniable.
Look, man, a gambler is saying that, like in gambling, it's strictly gambling. If you're, this is the #1 gambler's fallacy. Think there's such thing as a hot hand in gambling.
There actually is a hot hand in gambling.
If you believe that,
I mean,
enough.
you've never been to
Fair
Vegas.
enough.
People that have been to Vegas know you get a hot hand in a dice game. We literally talk about it all the time.
Clackety, clackety, clack. No, it's all good fun and jokes, that. But I mean,
Yeah.
I would say this, though. In a game of, like, if you're in poker, like, that's a game that has skill to it, right? So it's a very, like, you're not going to have a hot hand in slots. But if you're playing a game of poker and you're reading your opponent's well, that's very, very different. That's all. That's a different story. But if a gambler's like, oh my God, I actually hot hand in a dice game, there's a reason why Tron is not real. That's all I got to say. Like, you can't control the dice unless, actually, yesterday, while you guys were having fun, I was playing the game of life with my daughter, and you don't roll dice, you spin. Like, it was ridiculous. She'd say, oh, I want to get payday, and then it's a 1 chance in 10, and she just always seems to spin the right thing. And I'm sitting there, like, getting absolutely destroyed. We're playing SpongeBob Life, as a matter of fact. The game of life is
different
fun.
versions.
Oh, dude.
There's like, we have like a Mario Monopoly and all that.
I've got SpongeBob Life. I've got SpongeBob Monopoly. And we're playing a game called, it was a board game night last night, and we're playing something called Very Loud Librarians, which is it's an ass ton of fun. That's a really great family game. My roommate in university, like, instead of cursing, he would just say that a lot. So I have a habit of saying it. But if you never played that one, it's pretty cool. Like, it's just like a category game where, like, a letter, and then you get a category and say a bunch of stuff with that letter, and then you move on to another letter, and you have to go around the alphabet. A lot of fun, especially with family and kids. I'm taking one shot at WeWork, and I'm not going long the stock. I am not trying to chase this move. I'm just looking for the curl. I do not believe that this makes any sense outside of reverse split trying to go. And the velocity is not very good on this move. It's like the volume's almost non-existent as I look at it. I just don't feel like there's going to be enough to get it there. Mark Russo, gambler's fallacy. Yeah, that was. And again, you have to separate. There's a very big difference between playing slots and playing poker, right? Or rolling dice, which is literally a game of chance. You cannot get hot at rolling dice.
So
You cannot. It's physically impossible. You can't get hot at flipping a coin.
Right. That's
the
true.
gambler's fallacy.
But that's why I said about reading, like when you're looking at a board for gambling, right? It's just like stocks, right? So this is the thing. If we're going to talk about skilled opportunities right here, you could see the trades on the board, right? So it's trying about putting, and you said this earlier too, putting the best odds in your favor.
It's all probability.
Right. And so right now, you know, that's what I mean. We're reaching way above. Like yesterday to go 8-2, that's pretty unbelievable. 9-1 today, pretty unbelievable. So we are reading the stock market board correctly. And it's kind of like when you're gambling and you look at, like, you've looked at 10 games and, like, you look at them all and you're like, somehow you can pick two that actually win out of the 10.
Well, I'll say this: if there's evidence that picking sports games has that same level of skill to it, then I've never read a paper that suggests that. Like, most of it suggests the otherwise.
Yeah. So that's why we stick and put all of. I mean, I don't.
That's
really
why, like, the only.
That's why I sit here and do this.
In a casino, the only game. And there's probably other games of that. Like, I know poker and baccarat and backgammon. Like, there's games out there that I know are like the skill games. I just don't know if there's any more out there. Baccarat apparently is if you're
blackjack. I mean, there is a skill to when to double down.
That's a tricky one, blackjack.
There's a Paul.
If you have an unlimited bankroll and no rules, obviously you can win at roulette. But the casinos, they don't let you do what you need to win at roulette consistently. Casinos will not let you do. So, and it's the same thing with, like, counting cards. Like, there is a skill to it as well. Joe Peck saying backgammon is the best game. I'm not saying I know backgammon. I'm just saying I know that some of the best skilled gamblers play baccarat, poker, and backgammon. That's all.
Yeah. All right. So, like I was just saying, man, we just we emptied out the clip up there on Google. It went up. We actually got a good fill at 50. And then when we came up there, we did it right in front of you guys again, 125.77. So once again, another one, as we'll just drop it down over and over and over again. Good moves, nice move to the upside. It's just, this is trading, guys. And we did get filled there at 45 as well on Ford. This name we're not up that much on at all. It's just, we are up on it. We should have been a little bit more patient, and we sort of zoomed in and out on this one before. We didn't really give it a chance to settle down. I don't have volume up here. You could see the RSI was extended, and I actually don't even really look at RSI ever. It's just that was an extended move right there. So we should have waited a little bit more, but the fact that we hit it and we got it back down, this one could have easily been a problem for us. So again, getting a little bit outside of, but I mean, we had Intel yesterday on that news. We were already in it before it happened. So this one is just kind of like adjusting to volume spikes, news in the day, and just another thing that you want to have sort of in your toolbox to try to take advantage of quicker moves. And again, we are very, very lucky to have this platform here in front of us to be able to do that. The only stock, like I was saying here, that we're going to be red on today is Starbucks. And those of you at the midday show, I thought this name had a chance. And the reason why, Starbucks was up today, all right, when the market was down like 2%. We fell back. I tried a couple times here, more than a couple. Well, actually, it's really just 3 times. 1 time into there, out when we broke this bottom of 60 right into there. Tried it again once we broke 50s, and then eventually, actually, it must have been 60s, and then again we broke 50. And it's a good thing we got out of the way. They're now turned red, but now that I'm back looking at this, maybe 94, like I don't want the longs here, but maybe this 94 long on Starbucks isn't a horrible trade. So we'll wait. Maybe we'll wait for a 94 dip buy, like really into 94. But this is looking pretty decent for an opportunity here on Starbucks. This is also the 20 period, yeah. Oh, we almost crashed again. We've wicked down into here, 94 a couple times. So this is a decent buy zone here for Starbucks. I feel like
Have you seen the daily on Starbucks?
Put something on. Yeah, I mean, it's bouncing. Some of the Chinese names are getting much better, like Nike and whatnot. But maybe we'll try Starbucks here in case these futures do bounce. But again, the only negative stock we have on board today, so I don't know.
Starbucks is at a huge level on the daily. This is here's the daily chart on Starbucks. Support 94, bounce 90. It's just barcoding. This report's next week, by the way, on the 2nd. So this is actually pretty big where it's sitting. The 50 period, obviously, it's trying to bounce and break out from the 50. If it holds this high or low, it's got room to 100. But as I said, that's like a big if, and they report next week. So tune into that one. It should be interesting. Super SPAC man, I know where you're at. The cheeky short. You're talking about Shopify. Didn't work, but just have yourself an out. Like that's what I'm looking for in a firm. Looking for that curl. The market is still a little bit heavy. I don't think it's like we're not really breaking the range, 30, 40 handle range in the NASDAQ, but going off the 80 level in here. So get a bit of a curl, look for the consolidation, get yourself an out there at 1680. I think you said the same thing on Shopify. That's what you were getting at with Shopify. Yeah, like the moments where Shopify, and I don't know what happened in the morning part of my chart, but I can show you the 15. Is that? Yeah, this is okay. Like Shopify is not going, you're not going to be able to recreate the bigger trades from earlier. So if that's what you look for on a flat bottom break, all you can see is that perfect entry off of like 49 as I'm over there in a firm. But you look over to what is available to you. Maybe not VWAP. Maybe it is just the 49 area. That's why I'm looking over at WeWork and saying, okay, where's the next drop going to be? I thought it would get to 250. If it doesn't get to 250, then I don't have another opportunity to get in necessarily. I'm not going to trade it at the same level as before. I was looking for it to push a couple more times up. It's actually looking weaker now. It might not be that bad. Maybe if it tries one more push that can fail on WeWork, I could go for that. Haven't looked at the chip names. Super SPAC man, Rivian 17.
Oh, that's there, eh?
Yeah, like, if you've been scalping long 17 on Rivian, you've been winning. I just don't like the long in Rivian. But that's not always a good enough reason not to do a scalp trade. Saying you think a stock is going down is, if you believe that, then you'd never take an SSR bounce. You'd never buy the dip on an open and look for those plays. So as a trader, you've got to be willing to say, hey, look, 17's bouncing. It's 310. why not just take 1s and 2s to long? I'd rather be short VWAP. It just can't get to VWAP. It's showing you 15-cent range scalping. You could take it. You definitely could take it. I'm actually asking myself why I wouldn't just short the 15 myself. Look at the range.
$15.
17.15.
Oh,
17 to 17.15. Like, how many times is it going to do it? And you can just try to capture it over and over again. Apollo says not done dumping stocks. I don't disagree in terms of where this could go. A lot of things. Look at the 17 level. It's even better on the 15-minute on Rivian if it breaks 17 downside. But you know what? You can't anticipate the move. It either breaks it or it doesn't. There has not been a green candle on the 60-minute on the NASDAQ today. Not one. We've been red the entire time through. Yes, we've decelerated, but there hasn't actually been green. Maybe is this going to be it, like the end of the day? Possibly. I think you want some exposure to a strong stock. Not that I think Teledoc is strong. I just think it's got a short interest on it. That's it. It gets strong because it's not going down any further. Like, that's the best I can tell you. I was only short this name earlier today, and I'm flat on the stock. But if it gets back up to the high, then fine. We play the range successfully if we can. And I'm talking myself into Rivian at 17. Why not? It actually looks better on the 15-minute.
All right. Yeah, just a quick talk there. WeWork did just dump down a little bit. It's bouncing now off the 50 period. So, thanks for bringing that to the attention. I'm not, like I said, we are literally at the top of the day for myself for NetWise. It's 310. We're pretty happy. We're also a little bit exhausted. We haven't actually made that many, well, I guess it depends, to each their own, but 250 fills today. So a little tired, but 228 right now. Nice little move back in for WeWork. So watch out for that one. Again, we've had this reverse split play numerous times in the pocket, and it's just short. Let it go. This was kind of a weird move because we did come all the way back in to 250, and you would have thought, okay, it's imminent that you come back in, and then you ripped all the way to 650 there, which was absolutely unbelievable. Like, that was a great run up there for WeWork. And of course, if you're in this stock, like, I don't know what people's prices would be on average or how many shares they'd have, because this was 3 or 4 cents when it reverse split. So, watch out for WeWork right now with a lot of liquidity out there on this name. It doesn't look like it here, but I mean, when they're reverse splitting like this, actually takes shares away, right? So it goes the other way, actually. So watch out on that one. But right there, $192 falling out a little bit on WeWork and Google. Sorry, the newest position that we have on right now. This one I may have to go over to a firm or PayPal or Square or something, because I don't know if Starbucks is going to move. But we noticed that we do have a bottom here of 94-ish. So we will take another dip buy opportunity at 94.10. This is our red stock today. So, just take that with a grain of salt. This is the one name that we have not hit a winner on. So.
Oh, Scarjo Rabbit, I forgot to mention something.
Yeah, what's up with that?
No, that Roblox has been strong recently relative to the market. I did get Meta in front of 300 for those that are interested. But it had been so strong in the last month or so, and today a couple of months, and it really started to give it up. That 32 breakout did not hold. I had the longs. It was going pretty nicely, buying dips, and it was holding that afternoon support level, and then it absolutely fell apart. Sometimes you don't reverse and you look back, and it's like, okay, that's your support level. Could have just dumped it. I would at least mention, like, this is the 30 level on Roblox here. It's got a lot of support on the way back in. It barcoded for a while off 30 before breaking 32. So as weak as it looks today, there still is a $30 level for Roblox. It tried valiantly to fill in this gap. I mean, it filled it in like 65 to 70% or something like that from the lows. Was it able to fill in the gap on the daily? So pretty good bounce for Roblox. Just ran out of steam today. And I was long it a few times early, but once it was underneath 3180, I'm like, I'm not holding it past that level, so we didn't, and we had to get out. There's just no way around it. You got to do it at that moment. Bears versus Bulls, you're the man. I don't know what that means, Bears versus Bulls. I am the gambler's fallacy.
Bears versus Bulls is?
I don't know what that means. I'm sure, maybe that's going over my head.
Maybe too, mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick, man. I want to find some new names for everybody here. I feel like you just want to be short everything. So let me just look at the SPY into the close right now. See if there's something that, what kind of levels that we're waiting for. I mean, obviously 421 would be nice again. Now, getting out at 418 is okay. You are bouncing off some of these bottoms. I actually, being down 2.58%, obviously we're not setting any records to the downside here today, but it does seem like it may be a little over the top. Again, it's going to, and it's funny that what Brendan said earlier about Microsoft, because he's right. If Microsoft was actually following course with many of the other players there today, we would have been way lower. We could have been down 3 or 4% on Microsoft, as it's the largest weighting in the NASDAQ 100. So that's what those TQs are looking like. I want to look at SOX L right now, actually, now that I think about this, because this is a long SOX. So this, I think, it's a semiconductor. So I just want to see, is it triple? It is triple, so right there. So wow, down 14% right now. I think, with dramatic moves like this that have been happening on days like today, this is probably something that no longer needs to be ignored by me. We've added futures into this. We haven't really stepped over to oil or Forex yet, but we've added futures into our toolbox, and ETF trading probably, again, because then, you're not specific with, me and Neil were looking at Micron was strong today, like NVIDIA was overly weak, AMD was 5% as well, Intel, like a lot of them will have different stories.
Well,
No, they're all, I don't even want to talk about what they're at now because I haven't looked at them. But
yeah, Micron was, it's just not.
If you can imagine, this is down 14, so that means the average tech semi-name, chip name should be down around 3 or 4. I know there's more than that. But right there, SOX back to the 200, that would have been a great opportunity to get into that short. And then what it looks like right now, we've basically lost it here. I'm sure the SMH is getting close, if not below that 140. There's $16 break. Nice move to the downside, continuing to go here. Where do we find resistance? We don't, so we broke 17. So that reminds me that we probably are now a little too low on SMH, right? Yeah, wait, okay, so that was the 140 break. We missed it. We've been talking about this on the Market Recap Show pretty much every single day, honestly, every day. And then we should have clued into it. Obviously, we've got some good trades on as well. But that 140, look, it broke it, didn't even, like that bounced off 140. Then there's the break. We haven't looked back. So that's something to keep on the radar as well. I thought I was buying more Starbucks. Oh, no, wow, yeah, okay, not even close. We're not buying more Starbucks until into the O's right now, 94.07 or so for Starbucks. So yeah, we're not quite there yet. We put on about 10 to 15% of the position that we want against 94. So let's see if it works with this market coming down. It's only 316.
On days like today, Micron was, at one point today, the market was down 1.5% and Micron was flat. If you can believe that to be true. It was very strong relative to the market, and this is what happened when it rolled over. I think sometimes if this happens again, I'm going to look for this trade, which I was not flat out, let's be real. I was actually thinking maybe Micron, if the market catches a bid, I know I'll like this one long. That was where my head was at. But if you think about when this breaks down, when it starts to catch up, forget about here because you might still be thinking it's going to bounce. But when it breaks down big time and then shows this consolidation, and oddly enough, this is part of why I'm mad, because I already was looking at yesterday's lows and this support level just above 67. So it breaks down at that support. Now it's falling like everything else, tries to bounce off that support, and look what happens when it takes it. So the first consolidation down underneath the previous low, breakdown, and there's just, it never even looks back. It never comes back anywhere close to it. So sometimes the names that are late to the party, on a day like today, it has to be an extended day, like a day where 1.5 turns into 2 and everything looks ridiculously heavy. You can look for that thing that is not following everything else in its group or its cohort. Today that was Micron, and instead of getting a little bit more out of the weak names, you can get a lot out of the name that never really fell early. So, kind of a lesson learned for me. I was looking for a buy. I never went long it because it never looked strong enough to buy. Meta is bouncing off 300, but this is not like last time. Last time it got to 300 and like instantly was back up at 301, 301 half. This is not going. You just went to 50s and couldn't go anywhere. So I feel like this is one of these things is not like the other. The market is overall like absolutely bleeding. I just want to make sure I have this up for the early look. when we get individual names coming through, because I do feel as if there could be some interesting names to the sell side today. That would not surprise me one bit. Nothing really just yet, but I want to have that one up for you. I am in a firm, but it needs to roll over here. I need to see I need to see the 50s. We get into the 50s, and then a firm gets a little bit better. If you're just tuning in now, it was Affirm, Square, PayPal, all of these names got absolutely hammered all day long. And I don't know where the bottom is, but I have been thinking 15 is it for Affirm. It bounced a couple of times off the 200-period moving average, and we could actually see that in a couple of days. So that Affirm level is in play on 15. Alan Noon saying time to go long. In terms of like swing or where this could bounce on the daily, I like the 15 level. I actually, maybe it is turning, I don't know, maybe it is turning into a bottom at 16 even for today, but I'm still looking to play this off of the last flush, which is around the 1690 area. My stop's at 80 because I'm keeping it tight, but 16 I think was your long on Affirm if you happen to be sitting there when it got to that bottom.
All right, we're going to take, with new position alerts right now. Let's see what Meta does. All right, so now we're long at 13s on Meta. You can see where the downside push is going to potentially get to. We will take a piece out around 50 if we're lucky enough to get it up there. And then after that, we will try to figure out where we're going. Come on, give it to us. Right, I'm actually at 40 right now. Hopefully we can get that. And then we'll just take, again, a quick little 25 cents. There it is right there. So starting to go again. You know, there goes Meta right there to the upside. We will get another piece out at 3. Wow. Well, that's 301, sorry. 301. I was like, what? We're already there? No, we're not there. 301. I mean, what if we just go up to 3? I mean, we're long at 300 here. We're already in the money, 40 cents. Let's, all right, let's just go to $300.85 or so. Again, like this is pretty much just doing nothing right now. We do have earnings out there. Again, we're just trying to like top off our day again. Like, I don't know where these stocks are going to go. But, you know, playing off this, I feel like it's good probability that Meta is going to be in play here in the next 40 minutes coming into earnings. I don't really like trading ahead of earnings right now, but if these futures go, you know, maybe Meta does, you know, could there be some positioning happening ahead of earnings? You know, we did see some good metrics from Google as far as advertising is concerned, and we know that that's what the Meta play really is. We'll hear if they say something, it's not going to happen today. Well, I guess the call would be tonight, right? So we'll hear what they talk about with the Oculus Quest 3, see if they sort of guide forward on that, what the sort of pre-orders, I guess it's out already, what those orders are looking like right now. But again, I'm not trying to, like, this is not talking this position up. We are out of this if it breaks down below this 299.60 area. So we'll just take one place out right there. And this one, I believe, is literally the lotto right now. It's just, let's see if it goes. It's not a huge position. We're going to let it float down. If this goes back against us here, we will lose that 60 cents or so back down through 299.50. So that's going to be the play here. Lotto a little bit on Meta, see if it works. It's why we take that 30 cents on a quarter of it, and then now we'll wait to see if it can get back to the upside. And then honestly, target, like in this area, 301 would be the first target, which gives us that 80 cents. We just put an order there. And then that's the one-to-one. So hopefully it can get up, and if it doesn't, I'm just trying to find an idea here into the close. Although PayPal, was that getting near 50? Yeah, no, it's not, sorry.
No.
Yeah,
PayPal and Square both stopped falling, even when Affirm was still going down.
There. Yeah.
So just for myself, as I mentioned, like Meta was not bouncing off 300 with the same velocity as before, so covered in front of 50, let it get back into a better price. I have the 300. It's the same stop as before, but the first time we came up with this, it went right away. Now it's not going as fast, so it's much more of a scalp trade than it was before. But as you were just sort of saying with PayPal and Square, what's interesting about Block is down 8.5%, and you know, it's the velocity in this is absolutely stopped. So it's not getting to that $40 today. You know, I thought this was the Alamo. If it could have got to $40, I'm like, yeah, let's go long Square. If it gets to 40, it would be SSR if it got down to that price, essentially. So not today on Block, but maybe this is a temporary bottom. It could be. Like this PayPal, they've been so badly beaten up. At some point, someone's going to come in and buy them. PayPal 50 is a psychological level and a round number. It doesn't mean anything locally. I think 43 on the weekly chart when I looked at it. But Square here, it does have a double bottom at $40. So if it can hold on to this, I do think there's a long coming in this stock. And again, this is just the fact that it was so bad and now starting to slow down on how bad it's been. I should double check what the earnings are, because for some reason I don't know Square. Let me just double check that one. I don't want to say November 7th, but it's sooner than that. It's November 2nd. So Square is next week. So you only have to wait a week for potential bounce off this 40 level. I'm just in Meta, TDOC. That was bouncing off VWAP, and now it's, yeah, this is not really going anywhere. Maybe it's just like 10, 15 cents is all it's gotten it left. But Teledoc has been a long since the open. I've been shorting tops and now long on VWAP, but this has been a long since the open. It's just a patented squeeze back into the upside type of play on TDOC today. As bad as the stock has been, down 4%, I mean, it's not at the lows of the day. Like, what is not at the lows of the day today? Teledoc. What's the lowest quality company that we've talked about in this afternoon show? Probably also Teledoc. Market's weird like that sometimes. Actually, that's not true. The lowest quality name we've talked about this morning was WeWork, or this afternoon was WeWork.
Yeah, or that, didn't you talk about that Lion and all that?
No, but I don't know enough about those small caps to be able to say one way or another. I think we can confidently talk about WeWork as a fundamental company and say it's got serious issues. Serious issues.
All right, so here we go. What doesn't have serious issues right now is at least Starbucks, as it's trying to get back up to the upside right here. And if we're able to, did we just get hit on something there? What was that? Oh, Meta. Okay. No. We didn't get on anything. Sorry. Oh, was it Ford? What? No, nothing. Okay. Something just went back and forth on my screen there. All right. So 94.36. I was going to wait to get something out here. That high is 44. So I did put an offer at 36, believe it or not. We just stopped there at 35. So I guess maybe 1 penny too shallow. I don't know if we would have got filled anyways. Hopefully Starbucks can move up, man. If we could we always try to take a dime. You know, we're trying to get longer down there. It didn't get into that. It just got into the mid-teens as that's Starbucks, and unfortunately,
and I keystroke the firm.
That's what it is. So yeah, just real quickly before we go back over to there, like Meta just did break 300 right there. So we're still. I told you where we're going to give it to, but Meta could get faded into earnings pretty badly, right? I mean, if today is any sort of a sign, we did have a great move upside for Microsoft on the day, right? And then all of a sudden it just fell throughout the whole morning and finally finding a bottom, which we wound up picking up. So it's been good. Microsoft, like I said, is a pretty big net. Half my net today is Microsoft. So maybe if that's to be clear enough with everybody. But right there, 338.05 for a nice bottom there. But you know, again, nice report. Look what it did. Opened up here today at 850 in the morning. It was high at 347, almost taking 350. And then all of a sudden, from that high in the pre-market of 347, we just touched down and we just got long at 337 basically. So, you know, $10 down. I could see Meta maybe coming out with a decent report and not being able to hold 300, right? So that could create a little bit of a downside flush here.
Well, if Microsoft couldn't hold, I mean, is
Meta going to? I mean, that's kind of a rhetorical question. Obviously, we don't know, but we'll wait to see. The thing about Meta is Microsoft doesn't really have the potential to be up 10, 20%. I feel like Meta, they have different levers they can
Meta's
pull.
Implied volatility, at least.
How much was it? What was it?
According to the chat, I did not look for this, but I saw someone post on that Options AI was saying 10%, and then someone else, someone else said 8%. Either way,
it's
that's
double the other one.
Twice as big what the last two were. Just very quickly before we go to Brendan, I did make a bit of a keystroke error getting out of a firm. Instead of taking some out at 1650, I actually got out and reversed long, which obviously I didn't want to be long, so I just punched out. So the firm is now starting to roll back into the downside. I'm out of it, but you know, if you make an accidental, if you don't want to be long, then just get the heck out right away. Don't try to make it work. Brendo, what's up?
Wasn't much of a move on this, but worth a note. Ford, I was just reading a story on Ford. They're going to increase the price once again of the F-150 Lightning. It's mostly around $2,000, but the higher end versions up to $9,600. So again, not much of a move there for Ford, but worth a note.
Where are those? Because GM is...
Nothing's happening to any of these.
No, but GM is holding the highs as if this is a done deal. I don't know.
Well, the deal's going to get done at some
No,
point.
yeah, the deal's going to get done at some point. But GM is really up. GM is up 1%. It's holding all these highs, which is a little bit strange. I would have thought after, like, there's your 29 fail. Lit grab 28.90, falling back in. Like, why wouldn't this pull back into VWAP? Is it really that big? Is it that certain that a deal getting done here is going to be a good thing for them? I'm not completely convinced. Well, when this is above $30, I'll believe the short's done with this stock. GM lost Honda EV battery setup. Honda pulling out. Jay Lee. GM's got issues. Just because they get a deal done with the union, I don't think these guys are in the clear. But it's up today and it's strong today. As I said, I'm thankful I had a stop in here. Try to imagine not having a stop in that situation. I'm sitting here when it happens, so obviously I'm going to punch out. But that was wild. That's what news can do. And if you know you're trading something that is sensitive to flash news, i.e. there are negotiations literally going on as we speak, then you've got to make sure you're trading it with a stop or something along those lines. What is AMD doing? I just saw someone say Alan Newton called it 96. Oh, it's an upside.
There's gonna be so many
No, upside 96.
buy opportunities.
Yeah, this hit $95 today. The buying opportunity here, yeah, 94 and a half, 95. Good zone. But this just cracked the 200 period moving average. Like this would be, yeah, this is starting to trend into the downside. Oh my goodness. If this gets into the 80s, there's probably some decent value in there. But again, you got to wait around for earnings, I think. I think you wait for earnings. Meta's not bouncing this time off 300, by the way.
Not doing anything, yes.
Like, look at this. It was good, then it was good, then it was okay, and now it's not doing anything. So a lot of times that can be nasty. Reliable Rudy can't talk about GM going bankrupt yesterday, just saying the short is done after over 30. Oh, no, I just mentioned, like, the short-term move. Like, I'm not saying GM, if it clears 30, it's smooth sailing and you can own this stock forever. I firmly don't believe that. I absolutely not believe that. I just mean the short term, it's falling all over itself is done if it recovers 30. That's all. That's all.
Here we go again. So a trade that we just put on for you guys an hour ago is now, it's close enough. Who cares? Let's have some fun. It's 85 cents in the money. So we'll see if we can, maybe this could also be a cheer. Maybe it will go back up now. But the thing is, it's hitting the 200 period right now. So there's a nice long again for Google that we put that one back on. And, you know, we got out. We got out probably a little bit, obviously, in hindsight. We talked about scalping it. I mean, even as we were in this trade, and there it is now. So hopefully now we can get the Dollar Club as Meta rocking. Again, another name that we put on for you. So far, I think we're 4 for 4 this afternoon. So it's been pretty good. And there goes Google right now. And hey, now we can officially, whoopsies, we're not smoking, well, we are smoking, but it's an official one of these right now as we just touched 126.11 or whatever. Nice upside move there for that name. And then up goes Meta, but up in smoke maybe because it's not going. It's trying to go. I do feel a little bit like, you know, whatever about this trade. But again, okay, like as if, are we just going to get another piece out right now? Like we're in this name. I was trying to get longer down here, but it doesn't look like that one to come through. 48s, where am I right now?
I don't know. 1-to-1 is, I don't know. I just took some out at 1-to-1 and I'm getting out at 301. It's just, this is not going. My thought when the logic for this, and I was even saying it during lunch money, which clearly doesn't seem to be happening, was that recent shorts might want to be covering, especially given Google had good advertising numbers. The user numbers were good for Snapchat. I know Snapchat sucks today, but like their user numbers and all that stuff, and that was all actually pretty positive. So you would think that some of the recent short in Meta might be getting out. That was the thought, but it's not really bouncing here. So take what you can get. The early looks, 26 million to sell. The overall imbalance, 26 million to sell. That is obviously not very big, not a big number at all at this point. But the market is trying to regain 14.5. I think we'd be at 301 by now on Meta, but we're not, unfortunately. I wanted to mention this name because that Air stock, there was someone that brought this up. As in, we talk about this all the time. Just maybe as an example of a cautionary tale. I got to zoom out for this here. Remember Air, this thing that was at, what was it, $240 or, sorry, $600. The Air came out of this bad boy today, And the spread, right, I'm not making this up, the spread is $50 on the bid, $70 on the offer. And we said this is not a tradable name. If you could have shorted it, great. But if you get trapped in a long in a stock like this, you're going to find yourself in a lot of pain, because it's not just that you can lose, it's that there might not be like plausible exits on liquidity. It still has never done more than 100,000 shares. Like, it's 19,000 shares today. Like, there is a limit, and when you can't have liquidity in a stock, you cannot trade it. Yeah, it went over 500. I forgot exactly how high it went, but it was all nonsense. Quite frankly, there's just no liquidity on that stock. So Meta, I don't know. It doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. The market is bouncing nicely, and this is going absolutely nowhere. Like, if you look at what's going on in something like an Apple, like, look at Apple off the lows. This is what I would have thought Meta would be doing. So in the wrong name here. Not that I had a particular reason for wanting to be in Apple, to be honest with you. So I can say Apple's up $1, but there's no reason I would have been in it either. Meta 300's been a good level. That's why I like Meta 300. Apple just happens to be better right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think Google. I mean, how much is Apple? Apple was so strong. Yeah, so we went short there. Yeah, Apple's okay. I feel like right now Microsoft probably going. Of course, we're not in this name, and it's still going up in a way. So this is a very, very strong name. But again, a $300 name, Meta 350, 341 in Microsoft. But this name is $1 right here. It's really just gotten going in the last hour. But I was trying to wait for VWAP, guys. But again, we may have to just get out if this takes 126 back down to the downside. And we just tweeted that out, right? We just checked. This is going to be four green days in a row. It's pretty good. But Google breaking back down below 126. Normally, we're getting out near that 200 period. Thought that we could go for a little bit of a run here into the close. We've already done, so there was the damage already on Meta. Came back up. We got out the same level twice, 40s. So that's it right there, getting out. So going long at where we are now, getting out at 40s, that's only 30 cents. So a little bit of a dip buy opportunity again coming through for Meta. But now we're going to wait for under $3. So let's wait to see how low we can get to some of those bottom wicks here on Meta. But still a very...
Someone just said, why is it not breaking 300? But I wanted to make a... Meta is...
no idea why.
Yeah, Meta is technically breaking 300. Like, it's been underneath 300 multiple times. It's just not breaking away from 300. Meaning, like, it's the low is what, 299.67? Like, it'll get under 300, but it's not as if there's any acceleration under this. And the reason we like the level is the last time this happened, the last time this happened on Meta, it was doing this for multiple days and then just went absolutely ham. Someone was buying the crap out of this every time it got underneath $300. Now, that's possibly into earnings, but you saw the ramp up. Like, it was giving you, like, $1, $3, $2, like, for multiple days. And then when it finally broke away, that's when you saw 330 on it. So there's more accumulation happening. Clearly, it's just not working the same way that it did before. Nothing else to say about that. But it is technically breaking. There's no iceberg there. Like, there's buyers, but there's no iceberg at 300, which is not allowing it to break. Super SPAC, man, that knee stock is going again. Yeah, this is you got a good one here, I think. Super SPAC, man, because the last time, and again, this is another gap fill kind of play, like Quadunk, find a bottom, high or low, try to fill in the gap. I think you got a good one. I don't know, like Roblox did this and then never filled the entire gap, but it's doing the Roblox thing right now. So you brought this to our attention down around the low 50s, so congratulations.
Congratulations!
I don't see a trade in it this afternoon. It's not really, like, it's not doing anything right now, but it's still strong today in a down market. But you got to play these in the open. Like this, you got to play it at the open. Now it's really, or maybe at lunchtime, you're not really be able to do anything. Off VWAP, this was great. Look at VWAP on this stock. Strong stock, market tanking, holds VWAP, higher lows, breaks away. That is playing relative strength in a name and using VWAP to your advantage. But yeah, nothing to see for the afternoon. Just a great hold. Brendo.
If we rewind the tape here, going back to this morning, we were talking about Sunrun. There was a Muddy Waters short report that came out on Sunrun. Long story short, it's a solar-related company. They operate on a subscription basis. The short report essentially said that they were overstating the amount of subscriptions or subscribers to their service that they should have. I think it was the state of California. It was where they actually reported it, suggested it was closer to 600,000. The company was saying 700,000+. as far as how many people are subscribed. So they just came out and said they fully stand behind the reporting of these metrics. So essentially saying they have no idea. Muddy Waters has no idea what they're talking about.
It's coming up after the reports today. It's Meta, IBM, Wynn Resorts coming through.
Just a little company named Meta.
Yeah,
That's the big one.
There's a lot coming.
No, it's a huge board. We'll get to it again a little bit later. But that Sunrun was the SSR short sell whatever bounce play. You have to remember with these short sell reports, and for what it's worth, if you guys, and maybe this is a great community, I love this community because I'll say this and then you'll probably correct me, but if you can show me when a short seller report comes out, when a stock is at a level like this, then I don't know, like there's a slice of pineapple pizza there somewhere for me. It's usually not the case. It's exit kind of liquidity. So my rule of thumb is if after short seller report you hold a double bottom, then look for a relief rally long. And if it happens to be SSR, it happens to have a big short float, even better. It made one bottom at 850. If this holds 850 tomorrow, I think, well, what day is today? Today's Wednesday?
Yep.
If it holds 850 tomorrow, then you can look for longs off that level on Friday. And that was 1,000,000% true when Square had its short seller report. Obviously, things didn't go well since then. But that scalp trade on that second or third day was definitely there. Shorts got a cover, and when they released the report, when they're looking to cover. Obviously, it's worked out for them, and it doesn't mean it's not going to work out in the long run. But yeah, I'd be looking for a bounce in the next couple of days on this stock. Doesn't mean you have to go long, but I want to see it hold a low first. Getting away. Oh, okay. Was going to go back to Apple, but we can go to the desk and take care of some business first.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm going to correct myself on Apple when I was saying, but 300 on Meta is a reason to get in. There wasn't a decent reason to maybe try the long on Apple on the bottom. That's not necessarily true. Apple is trying to bounce off the 200-period moving average, so it's pretty darn close. It's closer to 170. The way this market has been, I've been kind of waiting for that last push down to get underneath 170.5 and actually be trading off 170. So I feel the problem with that is if we go long at 170.5, and I don't think I'm wrong until it gets all the way to 170 even, then I'm just kind of holding it against me into the ether. So I didn't have an out if I went long. That's the real reason. I didn't have an out if I got long at that low on Apple, but the 200 period is a reason to get out. Affirm, it was a good cover, but it was also a bit of a keystroke error. Like I got out, accidentally went flat, so I'd probably still had a piece and then just be getting it out anyways at this point. Affirm might be done for the day for the shorts. Good recovery for it, down 15%. Just a relief rally happening here. Shorts got to cover at some point. Stocks don't go down forever for a name like this. Hampton's Trader, don't know with ASPA. ASPA is halted and they're awaiting, look, it's an information request from the market for Aspen. Wait a minute, is it this one? No, it's not ASPN, it's APSN, right?
ASAN?
Oh, it's AS, no, it's a different one.
Asana.
No, it's not ASAN.
I didn't see it.
It's ASPA, that's it, ASPA.
ASPA, yeah.
The problem with this is when it's a stock I don't know, I'll instinctively just start throwing out symbols that I do know and I'll get them mixed up. We do not know when it'll open back up. When it is an information request, it could be days, it could be weeks. It is T12. I've seen no update whatsoever with this name. If you're in the stock, long or short, good luck to you. But I've seen that be, a long period of time, unfortunately, and we have no clue, no better than you. But you can track at NASDAQtrader.com and trade halts, and then you can see here. The last one is whatever these things, a Data Knights acquisition units apparently halted, but no look on ASPA yet.
Okay. So we've already taken the profit. I mean, Meta's going to be another green name for us here today. Doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. If this drops down below $300. We do have a $300.60 area, sorry, $299.60 where we were trying to buy it from. Look, man, if you're going to try to have some fun with trading, why not do it with Day Trade the World? It is campus.daytradetheworld.com. It is your opportunity to join like-minded individuals, and at absolutely a cost of free to you. You do have to be located, I think it says at the bottom here. There we go. No, United States citizens or residents unable to participate, but it doesn't mean you can't participate if you are in, for example, Portugal or any of those other countries outside of the United States of America. So just please try to apply. Let them know where you're at. You fill out the form. It's a great opportunity to learn our platform, figure out what prop trading is all about, and maybe see if this is a potential career for you. And you can get it kickstarted while you're still in school. And the whole idea is that you join a program. Unlike other programs out there, this is absolutely free to you. So it's just worth your time. And I think it's worth it. This takes years to get good at here. If you can do it, put the work in while your brain is still cooking, man, on education. That's the big thing, right? Like, as you get older and older, you start to have more and more dependents, things like that come through. This is a great opportunity for anybody to take a look at starting out with Day Trade the World. It's called the campus.daytradetheworld.com. You can go over there, find it out, and then eventually you're going to try to get to number 4 right here and go live. With a minimum of 8 hours and a maximum of 16 right there, you'll be able to, once again, hopefully perfect your craft. And it's not something that you're ever going to be able to perfect. You're just going to hopefully have a passion for it and be able to trade accordingly. Yeah, so that's that. 301.50 right there for Meta. I just edited that candle. You can see doing absolutely nothing here into the close. I may just get out. We only have a small, well, we actually have half left. I don't know, like maybe one more bump up into 30. Let's just put a piece out there. I'm still waiting for $300.20.80, which is up into here. Trying to not to be too greedy about it. I just thought maybe where this candle sort of started from is 301. So something up into here, going back $300.80 is what I really hoped for. But again, if we just scalp it out, drop down a little bit of cash here as we go on this name and just see where this takes us here into the afternoon. Drop down too much lower than $300, and we're going to get out of that one as here it comes, popping back up just a little bit. And then with only 5 minutes left until it balances, we'll just hit this because now we actually have a position on in Starbucks. So we actually got filled down there. Now you can see, I told you we only had 10% or 15% of our fill. So now you can see our average price, 94.09. So we just get that 07 in at 09. Let's see if this holds forward here against 94. Only red stock here, Starbucks, so not a good look to be in your only red one, but we'll give it a shot. It's at a key level there.
There are absolutely, like, in terms of individual names, like the balance is now 123 to buy. It was 26, now it's 123. That's very small. But in terms of individual names, there's nothing that stands out. So it's very, very quiet. I mean, MFC, that's not going to move the needle. Oddly enough, TD, which is having not that bad of a day, is a buy and bounce. An early look buy and bounce of $1 million, but there are none of the big names showing you an early look. TSM, that's a very, very small move to the upside right now. So it's a pretty lame, I'd say, early look on the bounces. I don't know if it'll be something. Oh, I should have just reloaded on a firm. I might take one more chance. You know what? It's 340.47. I don't get into position until after 350 if I like it. So I was about to say I should just take the same short on a firm, but it's 347. If I trade this close to it, it should be after 350. When at least I know, like, what if a firm comes out with a gigantic imbalance in 3 minutes? I mean, the stock's down 15%. It would be possible. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes, and if we have the same opportunity here, I might jump into a firm again.
So just realizing that right now, obviously getting into Starbucks, we had been sitting there for a while waiting for that trade. It did come in right now. We just took a little bit out there at 14. So we were long at 09s, just ripped up into here again. I want to take this much, much higher. But again, if those imbalances come out the other way, then we are sort of holding ourselves, I guess, I don't know. I don't want to. It doesn't matter. I'll skip on that. But right now, 94.10. We'll wait to see where that goes. We are scalping out of Meta. So I don't know if someone just said if that's what I'm doing, but Super SPAC Man. Oh, yeah. Sorry. We had offers up here, so that's going to look like that. We just got out for flat. So right now, I'm only holding a quarter left. So we've done a lot of work to get our net to where it is today. And it's just like, I'm not, it's going to make me a little sick here, and we want to stay in a good mood if I give back too much here heading into the close on Meta when I can clearly see it's not going. I said this was a lottery ticket. We've already taken 30 cents on half of them, so we get out for flat. So right now we're up 30 cents on this trade. If it drops back down, we only have a quarter left, so it'll be all good. We are waiting for a little bit of a lower take on this trade. I may just get out of this, actually, now that I see this. You know what? I'm going to talk myself. I'm out now of Meta. There we go. We're out of Meta. If it does fall back in, we will take something in the 7. There we go. Yes, sir. You know what? Scrap that, man. We're just going to go, that was a good idea, honestly. Just get the heck out of Meta because that was our plan of action. So right there, I'll spin this because we're saving it. You know, right there. We just made money on Meta and didn't give any of it back. So got out of half of it right there, then got out of the rest for flat. So as Meta drops down, there we go. Yes, okay, thankfully, wow. We are now out of that one, and there it is right there. That's experience, hopefully, and like I said.
The key is lower highs on Meta, man.
Yeah, just felt good. Yeah, I was just like, it just wasn't breaking.
It's like 300,
doing anything, so that's
3 or 150 bounce, 30, 50 bounce, 30,
right
30
there,
bounce,
Chungus.
30, 20, and then 20 bounce. Like every single time it popped, it was lower and lower and lower on Meta. I saw someone just say 280 on Meta. Well, if you go by the implied volatility that you guys, well, that was told me in the chat, then 280 would be possible. Because you guys said 8%, I said 8% and 10% were the two numbers. That is pretty darn good support. One thing I'll tell you about this is it's probably going to be, it's weird. It's probably going to be a really fantastic quarter in terms of numbers, but then try to remember that Google had what I thought was a good quarter. It was just some expectations that weren't that good.
Let's go.
And they were compared on cloud. So sometimes it's where it's gotten to and where it needs to get back on some kind of a pullback. This can be at 280.
Wow.
And that's not a drop. That's nothing at all. These are big imbalances.
Wow. I'm just, honestly, guys, I am like just that call there, like that to me, just being able to see that, get the heck out of there, understanding that 350 was coming. We're sort of doing the same thing, right? Like, look at this drop, man. We got out of there pretty good. We're about average. We were going to average in like right here, right now. So if it jumps back up, great, but there's the break of 50, so we'd be out anyways. Nice move, and what we're doing right now is the same thing on Starbucks. I don't know if Starbucks is going to be on here or not. It doesn't really matter. We just emptied the clip on that, man, on Starbucks. Like, it was very, very small win. We're not going to get green on this stock today. But Apple's victorious, Amazon's victorious, Ford, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Starbucks, Snapchat win, Spy win, Tesla win. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 names, 10 and 1. So boom goes a dynamite right now. Hit the sirens for that one. It's been a very, very good day today.
It's only $230 million to sell.
Yeah, it's not huge. But right there, we are just going to empty out right now on Starbucks, not really going back up to the upside here. So let's just exit this trading, call it a day on this, and just be really happy with the performance that we've had here on the afternoon show right now, and just, you know, put it up. It's been a good one. Join me if I just get out now, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. So hopefully we'll be able to get out of some Starbucks, although we will have an unrealized L. All right, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to punch out of this as it just drives itself right down Starbucks. But yeah, good trading there today. There we go. We had to get out at 01s as it continues to make a move to the downside. And look at Meta puking all over its damn self right now. So that was a short. Good call for anybody that had that one on. Going long into earnings, definitely learned some movement there. But like I said, it's a very, very bang-up day for us. And I just hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, please just do this.
Like and subscribe today.
And I will see everybody soon at the after show. So get ready for Meta earnings. Do we have a time when Meta earnings normally come out?
I don't. I'm not sure about Meta. I feel as if this is not one of the ones that's like well after 4. So I think it's on your show. I just don't know if it's 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah.
There is a couple of imbalances. Didn't want to interrupt, but Google is it was 1 million to buy. Is now 1.5 million to buy. That's actually growing to the upside. Apple is a 1 million buy imbalance. as well. Meta, Brennan just confirmed it's 405. I just guessed. I didn't actually know that. I just guessed. I know it's.
Yeah, they've
know
all
it's not
been, they've all been
late.
coming real early. So.
Yeah, but you know what? A couple have actually come out right away that you're expecting 405. So I'm not going to linger too much at 4 o'clock because they say 405, and then what if it opens at 401? Intel is a sell, 1 million. Those are the interesting names. It was Apple, Intel, and Google. Alphabet to the upside. Imbalances to the upside. Anyways, I didn't actually see what happened to Alphabet there because when you see an imbalance and then it grows, a lot of times that's going to get a bounce. Sorry for the wicks, but a small bounce, 15, 20 cents it looks like on Alphabet, which never went SSR. A name like Google is very unlikely to get to SSR because there's a lot of people that would probably buy it before it gets to that price. I did not see Tesla, so it could not have been more than 500,000 on the imbalance. I'm just scrolling past 500,000. Still no Tesla, still no Tesla. If Tesla's on here, then it's got to be pretty deep. I mean, Microsoft is down at 300,000, PayPal 300,000, and I still haven't seen Tesla. So it looks like a little bit of a nothing burger for imbalances on Tesla, which, you know, quite frankly, Tesla 200, maybe? 210's the low today. It still hasn't, you know, you had that bounce once off 200. You rejected the 200 period today. So if you guide back down, not guide, but you know what I mean, like fall back down here, then you retest the $200 level and try to calm down there off their numbers. So maybe we see that. Anything can happen. 2.5% to the downside on the NASDAQ. It hasn't been a pretty one, but you hang on to your shorts and you can definitely have some good opportunities. IBM, do not sleep on that name. When the market's this hairy and when there's this much going on in the world, sometimes these defensive type names, when they do really well or they have a solid quarter, people like to go into them because they feel safe in them. And IBM falls into that bucket. I'm not saying they're going to have a good quarter. I'm just saying if they have a good day. You saw what happened with Verizon. It really doesn't take much for one of those. And IBM's a heck of a lot better company recently than Verizon. Mohammed, why SPWR is so low today? So SunPower, I'm going to guess down because Sunrun got absolutely destroyed today. That's me making the guess. Sunrun, short sell report, got absolutely destroyed. A lot of other names. If you have high capital costs, you're going to run into some trouble. So you look at a move like this, and I say just look at some other related type names, and that's what's going to happen. So very similar charts for a very good reason. Larry Wanta, Dunedin trip in 2024. You know what? We haven't booked yet. So a lot is up in the air for myself. My wife is very, very busy. She has some great things going on from her at her work. So it's up in the air. We try to go to spring training as often as we can. It is not a guarantee next year. But if I do go to spring training and anybody else is in Dunedin to watch the Jays, it was the best time of the year for the Jays was spring training. I'll just leave it at that. And the rest of the season, it was okay, but spring training was absolutely fantastic. We have a lot of fun down there. I love being down in Florida. I obviously love the weather as well, which is fantastic. People live in Tampa, love Dunedin. I love it too. It's a great little town. You got a lot to do down there, which is a heck of a lot of fun. Just a couple of things. I see Go Rangers out there. I did not say much about it, but I am going to be rooting for the Diamondbacks because the way I see it, I can then cheer for the former Jays that we traded away, who then carried the Diamondbacks to the World Series. So shout out to our former number one prospect, Gabriel Moreno, who is now the most clutch player on Arizona and taking them all the way. And we traded him away for Dalton Varsho. I still like you, Varsho, but what the heck. That was frustrating. It was absolutely frustrating. Let's get into what is going to be reporting aftermarket. Still hanging on to 300, but by a thread. Meta broke down today. It has found some support, down 4%. You're going to get earnings pretty much right away after the bell in the first couple of minutes. Probably about 4:05, as mentioned by Brennan in the chat there, but it's not going to be guaranteed. Either way, we're going to be at the desk with Sean when it happens. The implied move on Meta is double that of what it was for Alphabet and for Microsoft. So I'm expecting this could be some serious fireworks, potentially the downside as well. Reliable Rudy, the Rangers have never won a World Series before. You know what? Okay, fine. Maybe I should be. I'm kind of neutral there. They have Semien as well. I always have a soft spot for teams that have never won anything. Really, the Rangers have never won a World Series. Now I half want them to win, but not all the way, just half. No, Sean just yelled out, that's why I like the Bills. Well, I love the Bills because the Bills are close to Toronto. When you grow up in Toronto, and the first team you support in the NFL is usually the Buffalo Bills. So I like Bills because the reason I like the Leafs, the reason I like the Raptors, the reason that I love the Toronto Blue Jays. Just I love my city, and I'm going to rep the teams that are from it, and that's just unequivocal for me as far as I'm concerned. But if the Rangers have never won, then I half hope that they should. Half. I still want the D-backs to be the team. With about 90 seconds to go, expected move, as we said, 9% on Meta. I've heard 8, I've heard 10, now I've heard 9. Either way, a heck of a lot bigger than what we saw or we expected last night. And they're not the only one. As I mentioned, do not ignore or sleep on IBM. They are a good stalwart that has made an unbelievable recovery in the last few years. Trying to load the chart up on IBM, and it is not remotely cooperating here. That's good. So with 1 minute to go, IBM it's flat on the day. My daily chart's not really loading. But imagine on a day where it's been absolute bloodshed and they're reporting today, and you're actually getting a small sense of stability. It's because it's not as volatile a stock. These guys have a good report, then there can be a long here on a stock like IBM. I'm kind of hoping my daily, there's a daily chart. It has pulled back quite a bit, but the recovery has been fantastic for them in the last couple of years. It's right at the 200 period moving average as well. That took a long time to load, but right at the 200 period moving average. If these guys have a good queue, I could easily see them running, but it has to hold on to 136. 20 seconds to go. We got Adara on the bell. It's been a wild day. I can tell you it hasn't been fantastic for your long-term account, but when you can short day trading, then that's what it's all about here. With only 5, 4, 3, you know what to do, Adara. And we are officially closed. I don't want to linger too long. Meta closes at 229. Underneath 300, we closed on Meta. Looks like it is going to be a wild one here, ramping off of that level. Big shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s. Thank you very much. Randy coming by as always and giving us treats when we don't need them, but we love him for it. Obi was back after a day off, doing the midday, and a great job with Sharif as always. And as you just mentioned, Dara, doing a fantastic job in her trading journey, trading some Netflix, not an easy stock to trade. I want to give a shout out to Brendan, bringing us live news pretty much all day long, including that UAW news, which is obviously big. You know who I am, and you know where you're going. It is right on over to the market recap show. Chris Bretcher is going to talk about, hey, trailing stops? Who doesn't want to get better at putting out trailing stops? I know I've had some issues with those before. But first, we got to go to the desk for the market recap and those Meta earnings.
Thank you for joining me one more time here as we get ready to rock and roll here with Benzinga Pro. We do have Meta moving up to the upside right now, 302 and